UndergroundVideoNetwork.com presents the We Talk Too Much podcast.
This is where the fun begins.
Comic books, superheroes, sci-fi, gaming, and everything nerdy.
That's it. This is just too weird.
Now, here's your host of the We Talk Too Much podcast, Mike and Richard.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Underground Video Network's We Talk Too Much. This is our first broadcast of 2022. We took a little break for the holidays and for winter. Rich, how's it going?
Good. Things going okay. I just realized we don't have our name tags.
Uh-oh. Nobody's going to remember who this guy is. Okay. Speaking of which, I am Michael Boroff. No caption necessary. And this is...
I'm Richard Catterjohn.
Rich, yeah, we haven't... There it is. We haven't gotten a chance personally to talk since the holidays. How's everything been?
Good. Got busy there. The newspaper gig, I volunteered to go out and take some photos at some basketball games and stuff. So that's been on a couple Saturdays. So that's why we're a little bit later behind than getting started like we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, but I mean,
it's pretty cool going out and take it's high school level, but it's pretty cool. Some of the stuff I know, the one last night I got was I actually shot a game last night, and I got this the one kid going up for the shot, and then I had two defenders hitting the ball all at once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. That's the one that actually got published, so it was in today's paper.
Oh, very nice.
But how's things going with you?
Good. Still working steadily, you know. Fortunately, I still fall under the essential category, so you know, haven't missed any work. Yeah, between that and just keeping myself occupied. I did, before we started, Rich, there was one thing, because we have so much to catch up on. And a lot of times when I say we have a lot of stuff to catch up on, I'm looking directly at Richard. I forget sometimes that there are people that may or may not be listening or watching. I haven't talked to my buddy Richard in weeks, but I wanted to mention I picked up a game over the break, the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I was skeptical about this game at first because it was produced by the same company that made the very laughable Avengers game, which, if you remember, we talked about it before. It was like we knew the characters weren't based on the movie. They were going to look not according to the movie. But the joke is like, oh, this isn't the Avengers. This is the Avengers cosplayers. This time they got it right.
Oh, cool.
This game is what the Avengers should have been. Not only did it have exceptional graphics, again, not based on the movie. This is more of an independent comic book MCU amalgamation, but the graphics were amazing.
Oh, cool.
Oh, everybody looked perfect, from Rocket to Groot, Drax, Gamora, the Milano, everything was perfect. And not only that, the gameplay was very good, control-wise. A lot of times games where you're the central character and you've got a team around you can be kind of clunky and cumbersome. This played very well. They legitimately played as a team. And the story, this was some A-level storytelling, a completely original story. We got to see locations like Nowhere. We got to see Cosmo. The Nova Corps. I did. I really, really enjoyed this game. And right out of the gate, the first 5 minutes of it was a flashback. This isn't a spoiler, but it was flashback of Peter Quill when he was a teenager, still living at home with his mom. And you got to walk around young Peter Quill's bedroom.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the first times I ever really did the photo mode that you can do for video games, where I was examining every square foot of Peter Quill's room, because whoever designed it put so much love and detail in it. It was awesome. But yeah, I really recommend this game, especially now that I've heard and I've seen now that the price has been reduced.
Oh.
It is definitely worth picking up. I highly, highly, highly recommend picking up this game, especially if you were a little gun shy from that Avengers fiasco. This more than makes up for it.
Guardians of the Galaxy, for all the ones who do or cannot see it on the audio podcast.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah, yes. Guardians of the Galaxy for PS4, also backed up for PS5. Made by Square Enix. Yeah, I highly recommend that game. It was a lot of fun. There were, honest to God, there were moments in the story in a game that were grade A level storytelling, where you're just like taken aback, like, wow, this is some good story from a video game.
Man, we're rusty here, folks. Sorry about that.
But yeah, actually, I'm kind of bummed because I legitimately just finished that game last weekend, and I'm honestly really debating on going in new story mode. You know, where you get to keep all the stuff that you had from the previous, because it was a very linear story. It wasn't so much open world where you get to go everywhere, but it was one of those games where certain decisions and certain dialogue choices you make really do have an impact later on in the game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started. We got a lot of catch up to do, so let's just jump straight into the one that we were going to go watch for the episode. We had a new Spider-Man come out over our break.
Yes, and I think plenty of time has passed where we don't really have to warn everybody about spoilers. Yeah.
But there's spoilers. We're going to talk freely about that. You know, it's one thing, but man, that was bigger than what everybody thought it was going to be. That's
really sure. Was. There was so much that happened where it was really it really not only met, but it really did exceed expectations. Like, we had a rough idea what we were going to get into in this movie, but it really knocked it out of the park. It was way more than even I was expecting.
Well, what was so crazy about it is all the spoilers and the drops ahead of time. Most of it was true.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not in this movie. I'm not in this movie. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
We had more than just one Spider-Man, you know.
And it was so many little things, you know. It was like we knew for certain that we were going to have Alfred Molina back as Doc Ock. I mean, that was like the one gimme.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe was still kind of iffy because even some of the shots they used was like he was in the full Power Rangers. Remember that? The full Power Rangers Green Goblin costume, and it was still iffy. Jamie Foxx was confirmed, but like bringing back Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman, and not just for like a brief second.
Right. Like, they
were all pretty full on too.
And it was pretty instrumental to the storyline too. They weren't just passing villains in the background, you know. It was part of the whole big picture or the big story, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I was really pleased at the way they put this together. You know, it really meant a lot for the old Sony Spider-Mans too, you know.
Yes.
You know, it really gave a completion for more or less, you know, to how those old films, because those two series never really ended properly in my mind.
Right. And the Andrew Jackson, Andrew Garfield run definitely didn't get all that he deserved.
Yeah. You just never know. We might get a third one. There's talk.
Now, yeah, really. I liked too that it don't, like you said, not only did it pay homage to the other two Spider-Man movies, but let's be honest, man, they really showed their love for the Andrew Garfield run of Spider-Man. It was like they acknowledged that, hey, we didn't get a chance to show him the love that he deserved when we had that, you know, when they had that property. He didn't get the closure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Because the third film was going to happen, maybe, and then all of a sudden, nope. The second one kind of tanked box officely, you know. So
yeah,
it didn't make the expectation like Sony wanted and stuff like that. So they just didn't want to lose the rights, so they just kind of threw that one out there. So
yeah, and it was one of those. It was kind of like the Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, where you could tell that the wrong studio execs were putting their 2 cents in. Because even going back, and I've tried to rewatch. Oh my God, it's still. You know what's worth it though is to go back and watch Spider-Man 3 with the commentary, just because it's Topher and all of them, and they just. You can hear it in their voices, man. They put so much work and love into the movie, but you could just tell that the executives just butchered it.
Yeah, it was one of them things for the time, but let's get back to the movie. I mean, this really summed up the whole MCU Spider-Man story.
Yeah,
you know, it's basically finishes the Tony Stark era of Spider-Man.
yes. And you know what? That's the other nice thing about us not being able to have gotten together and talked about this movie for as long as we did, is because I've gotten a chance to really think about it and mull it over. And I really believe that movie ended the only way that it really could have to help the character go forward.
Right.
Because the Spider-Man that me and you have grown up with in the comic books, and even from the old TV show, and Tobey Maguire, what always made Spider-Man such a relatable character was that he was the every guy.
Yeah.
He was us with like superpowers, like, shit, I don't know if I'm going to have money for rent, and I got to buy web fluid, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But right out of the gate with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he had Tony Stark's backing. He didn't have it as rough as, you know, the other Spider-Mans coming up.
Right. And it didn't take away. It just created a different Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it was like this techno geek Spider-Man. You know, especially when he got the other armor and stuff, so he could do the stuff and everything. It just seemed like he was going to become Iron Spider instead of Spider-Man, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. I don't want to say he didn't earn it, but he didn't go through the years of the stitched up costume, and you know, even by our standards, because that was the one thing that I absolutely loved at the very end when they briefly showed his costume. Here's why I had a lot of respect for that, Richard. Also, as a cosplayer, dude, that suit was made from Joanne Fabrics. That was some bargain bin spandex. Because even Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. There was one thing that we always joked about was like his very first suit that he made. Bullshit, dude. There was no way with the webbing and the lining and everything. Like bullshit. The closest we got was when they were showing the YouTube video of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The tank top T-shirt and the sunglasses.
Oh,
we only got that briefly. But no, it really that little bit of a glimpse that we saw at the end, and the full-on looking spandex classic suit. Yeah, that looked like something that he probably had to sit in his apartment and stitch together.
So, what is Marvel going to do with Spider-Man now? I mean, I know they made agreement with Sony to make a couple more movies. So, are we going to have a whole nother trilogy with Spider-Man being Spider-Man, or?
I really hope so. I really want to see a more street level Spider-Man, because think about it, we really haven't gotten to see that yet. We've seen him in outer space. We've seen him square off with, Thanos. And I mean, yeah, we got some action with the Vulture. But I mean, shows like Daredevil have shown that there is an appeal for the more street level superhero, and for a lot of us, Spider-Man used to be that.
Yeah,
speaking
of Daredevil, man,
dude, that was so dope. Oh my god, man. Yeah, that was another promise that they kept.
Yeah. So does this make those Netflix shows part of this, or just pieces of it? I know we'll be talking after this to wrap up the other series that was on Disney Plus, but let's stick with Spider-Man. It kind of looked like he was Daredevil from the series as Matt Murdock. So those stories probably did take place, is what I'm hoping. Even they do any like recasting of characters or whatever, I just hope that when they do bring this new street level, as you were saying, MCU, maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe we can get back to where that left off, but not quite the same, but a little different for Disney Plus.
And I think we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I think the movie that's really going to bridge that gap is the movie whose trailer just dropped this last week, the Moon Knight. That's
a series.
Or the series, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that Moon Knight is going to be Disney Plus's answer to the Netflix shows.
Yeah. And hopefully that'll set the level of where they can take like Daredevil, Elektra, or anything like that.
Like Luke Cage, yeah.
Yeah. If they bring any of that back,
Yeah.
So.
Not you, Iron Fist. You had your chance.
Well, I liked it. I'm one of the few people on Earth that actually did appreciate it.
How you going to have a superhero that gets his ass handed to him in every? He's the least heroic person in every single episode, except for maybe like the last two. Like, oh, I'm Iron Fist, and I got my ass handed to me. Here comes this person to save me. But anyway, yeah.
But I'm glad that what Spider-Man, the newest movie did was it played off the multiverse stuff, which is what Marvel is now really getting out there every which way. And even Sony's picking up on that because with their stuff, because like they were talking about, Morbius, it got pushed back one reason or another, some people say because, with COVID in the theaters, or they just didn't want it actually going against Spider-Man in the theater,
Right.
But I don't know. I just think they wanted to do a marketing just a little bit different. That's what my take is, why they pushed it back, because I think that's going to tie in with some of the events that did happen in Spider-Man. What if it has to do with one of the other Sony Spider-Mans, not necessarily the MCU Spider-Man?
Right.
Are we going to get another universe, like one of the other Spider-Verses, where Morbius takes place? Does Venom take place? You know,
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
or questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Sony didn't just leave the door open for the multiverse in that movie. They kicked the door down.
Right.
They kicked it off the hinge with this movie.
So that means we can't have all of the Spider-Mans previously be in each one of their own universes, basically.
Yeah.
And then they could play off that with either Morbius, more Venoms, more Craven, or whatever they're producing, you know, Black Cat or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I'm hoping they can do. And then, of course, you know, there was announcement of the 2-movie deal with Back into the Spider-Verse. So,
yeah.
So, you know, they're taking Spider-Man seriously these days. You know, that's what I really appreciate.
And I like, again, I think it really ties in well with the way that the movie ended. It was almost, I don't know how to put it, Richard, almost like a soft reboot, where it was just like, okay, he's still the same Spider-Man,
right?
But now he doesn't have Happy to go to. He doesn't have May to go to. He doesn't have the Avengers Mansion.
He doesn't have anybody.
He doesn't have anybody. It's like a soft reboot. It's just like we're keeping him, but resetting the world around him.
True. I wonder, did he get accepted into MIT or not?
I don't think so. And me and a few other people have had extensive conversations about this, and it's one of those things where we need more explanation, because if you remember, when he goes into the apartment, he had a book on how to get his GED.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
And it made me wonder, we really need more explanation, because Peter Parker was forgotten, but not Spider-Man, which we saw at May's tombstone when Happy showed up. Happy didn't know who Peter was, but when Peter mentions that he knew May through Spider-Man, you know, he knew who Spider-Man was.
Right.
Now, does that just mean that people don't remember Spider-Man, or is it so far that his like his existence has totally been wiped out? Like, he's got no social security number, no high school transcripts, you know.
Yeah, is he someone totally brand new, totally fresh within this universe now?
Yeah. Or he'll still be Peter Parker, but in a world where nobody knows who Peter Parker is.
Yeah. Except for the IRS, everybody. They know everybody.
We joked about that too. We actually joked about that too. Because I came up with a joke where there's going to be this extended scene where Peter keeps bumping into people that he used to know and nobody remembers him. But all of a sudden his phone rings and he answers it. It's like, "Hi, Mr. Parker. We'd like to talk to you about your car's extended warranty." "Hi, Mr. Parker. This is Phil from Sally Mae." I was like, yeah, magic ain't going to make you forget that student debt loan or student loan debt.
Well, he's on high school. That's paid by the public. But, you know, it's one of them things, you know, we'll have to see what they really do with all that in the next movie, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get something down the road, you know, or have him cross over in somewhere else or something, because I doubt he'll be in the Avengers.
Right. I would even go so far as one thing I would like to see is maybe even a 4 or 5 issue Marvel miniseries comic book that explores life after the wish.
Oh yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's kind of weird because one of the big juxtapositions in the MCU was life before and after the snap and before and after the blip. Now for Peter, it's going to be life before and after the wish.
True. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if we're going to see examples of how it's almost like It's a Wonderful Life. We're going to see how the people in Peter's life are going to be affected if he had never existed. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird. It could go in several different directions.
Yeah.
And speculating stuff. I don't know. It's just one of them things. Whatever they do, it's going to be whatever they do. It's not going to matter what we say.
Right.
And I hope they don't listen to the public. I hope they have an idea what they wanted to do, why they set this up, why this is happening. I know, like with the Doctor Strange part, we'll find out pretty soon in Doctor Strange 2. So maybe we'll figure out a little bit more with Peter Parker in that movie. Maybe the beginning will take place like right when that all happens.
Yeah. One thing I really did like, it was a nice small touch that they addressed in Spider-Man we kind of forgot that Doctor Strange had been blipped out of existence after Thanos' snap. So reminding everybody, no, Wong is now currently the Sorcerer Supreme. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
That was a great touch.
So that makes sense for what happened in the Ten Rings movie.
Yeah.
It actually does clarify a lot, and I think it really sets the stage up for the Defenders, the way Defenders are supposed to be.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not the street level Defenders that we saw at Netflix, but Defenders with Doctor Strange,
right?
Submariner,
yeah,
Valkyrie, I think we could see that really happen now, more than ever,
Yeah.
And then maybe coming of Galactus through the Defenders, who knows?
Oh God, no! I'm sorry. It's just that when you said Galactus, it made me think of the external or the Eternals. Version. I finally got around to watching it, Rich, and I fell asleep.
Oh wow!
And here's what I swear to God, Richard. On a Superman comic, I swear. I watched it a Friday night. I fell asleep. Saturday, I got up, realized I'd fallen asleep during it. Went to go get my comic books, and I was talking to Alex at the comic book store about it. And like he even said the same thing, like he fell asleep. Did my running, got home. I was playing on Facebook. And again, I don't know if it was one of those things where my phone heard me talking, but Facebook, I saw a bunch of memes about the Eternals being the MCU equivalent of NyQuil. It was like the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching. If you want to fall asleep in the movie theater, there was a bunch of memes about people. And when I went to the comment section, which I rarely do, dude, they were going down a rabbit hole because it first started like, yeah, I fell asleep too. So did I. Wait a minute. I fell asleep during it too. It got weird, but I picked it back up and finished watching it. And it was like unseasoned mashed potatoes. I didn't dislike it. I didn't think it was great. It filled me up for the time being, but meh. But I mean, the idea that they could have set up Galactus, well,
Galactus isn't part of the Eternals.
No, but he's still a celestial being, and that would have been
he's not part of the Celestials. It's something else. It's totally different. Galactus isn't. Why I was saying Galactus is because the Silver Surfer.
Right.
Defenders will maybe get the defense. Because fans. Hopefully, we'll get Fantastic Four. That'll set up the
Yeah.
cosmic arc. That'll go into their Phase 5 part, because I figure Fantastic Four will be the ending of Phase 4.
Yeah, that'd be really poetic if they did it that way.
And then we jump into this, part, if they go to 5 or if they stop numbering, who knows? Maybe they just need to stop that, But I think Fantastic Four will set the cosmic level up. We need the Eternals because they've been around forever. And this set up that part of the line. And then we have Guardians of the Galaxy, which is going to be wrapping up its run with its, number 3 and the holiday special or whatever. And then what is it, animated tunes out of that with Groot and Rocket and stuff like that. It's going in a whole nother direction, which is fine. Guardians of the Galaxy needs that. It needs to evolve into something different. And the whole cosmic arc stuff, especially now that we got Warlock is coming, we got Firefox and we got Pip and stuff like that. That's what Eternals was more of a setup to give you that boring history of the Marvel universe.
Because you're absolutely right, Richard, and I'll give it credit where credit's due, because it was like the Guardians of the Galaxy set up the broader universe idea, aliens, whereas the Eternals set up the celestial. Yes, there's aliens, but there are godlike.
Right.
We
got a taste of in Guardians, with Kurt Russell. But Kurt Russell was an ego. But was he really a Celestial, or was he just calling himself a Celestial because he wanted to be a Celestial?
Yeah. Because was he living up to his name of just being ego? It's like,
That's
did he see himself as a Celestial,
and not necessarily a real Celestial?
Right.
So I'm thinking we're going to have a lot of that 70s Marvel cosmic stuff come back around in the movies now. I just think that's where they want to take the cosmic stuff, which will give us the Fantastic Four out of all of that, which would make sense, And then, of course, we're going to have Ant-Man with the time travel stuff coming up, too, because we're going to have the quantum stuff. So we'll see a little bit of that take off into that directions. And then, Doctor Strange with the multiverse. So it all makes sense in a way in the directions that they're heading with these shows, because we're not going to have your bold Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor type characters anymore. We're going off into this whole new direction with what is a hero now.
Right. And I think shows a perfect segue into the Hawkeye.
True.
With Kate Bishop, and not only Kate Bishop, but Yelena.
True. A new Black Widow, definitely.
Yes, setting up the next generation of, they might not necessarily be the Avengers, but the next generation of heroes.
And they're not going to be like the previous Avengers. I think they're going to have their own set standards, their own way of doing their own MO, more or less. We're going to have She-Hulk. We're going to have the new Ms. Marvel. We're going to have all that, which is branches off with the original foundation. And I know I don't want to say is making the universe younger, but I think it's going to appeal to the wider audience, which is what they got to make all this newer stuff appeal to.
And I completely agree with that, because it's hard for us to really accept, Richard. Jesus Christ. Rich, how long ago did the original Iron Man movie come out?
It's 2008.
Yeah, man. So, if you were in your 20s or 30s when that first movie came out, look at where we are now. To keep any property vibrant and fresh and relevant, they have to change with the times.
And I think Marvel is doing a good job at that myself.
I agree. I agree.
I think they have to do that because they got to keep it fresh. They got to keep it new. Plus, they still have all this material they haven't covered from the comic books. I mean, they could go in several different directions, you know.
Oh yeah.
But that's why I think they're going in the 3 different directions. You got the multiverse, you got the cosmic, and you got the street level.
Yeah.
And I think they just need to concentrate on those 3. And then you have the Disney Plus to add to the level of, instead of having a one movie, you know, like a 3-hour, 2.5 hour, 3-hour movie, you could literally have 6 hours of an episode stretched out, or 8 hours, you know.
And it's a really great way of fleshing everything out and tying up loose ends. You know, we can do an episode. We can deal with this topic right here. What, you know, like, oh, what happened directly after the snap, and oh, here's what happened directly after the blip. You know, we can do that in the Marvel shows.
Well, and just like this week, you know, Disney Plus dumped out the little shorts.
Oh yeah.
So why can't we have newer shorts like that? Why can't we have a half-an-hour episode of something? You know what I'm saying? Why do we need full 6-8 episodes? Have an hour special. You know, the Guardians in the Galaxy's holiday special coming up.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. You know, why do we need like tons of episodes or one movie? We could just tell a story in an hour's time and set stuff up for some other bigger movie, you know, like who knows, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, and like, you know, we're going to have the Marvels, you know, instead of having it Captain Marvel 2, it's going to be Marvel. So we're going to have like all the Marvels, you know, it's going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking DC Captain Marvel, you know, with the Shazam stuff, you know. And of course, that's coming around too. But DC is really complicated right now. And I don't want to talk about I like what we're talking about because, you know, Hawkeye was a perfect point, you know. We had X amount. It was set up. We knew it was going to end. And it really drug you along through the whole storyline. And the way it ended, it sets the whole stage up for a new everything.
Yeah. And at the same time, especially the stuff with the Kingpin, again, like I mentioned, it was pulling in loose ends. It's like, yes, we are acknowledging that this universe existed. We are acknowledging that this took place at the same time as, you know, when this happened, you know.
Right. And now that we got to see those small clip and stuff, you know, does that make S.H.I.E.L.D. more legit now too? Because, you know, you had the Coulson episodes, you know.
Right, but at the same time too, the reveal that Hawkeye's wife was that pretty much blows Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I still think it keeps Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. alive in my mind because it could be a multiverse because it shifted. You know, it could have shifted over into this multiverse. You know, when they brought Coulson back, maybe that wasn't part of the MCU timeline, but it was the S.H.I.E.L.D.'s timeline, you know.
Hey, anything I can do to get more Phil Coulson, I'm all for it. I'm all about it.
I just think, you know, we just have to keep an open mind that, you know, now we have multiverses. Are we going to see multiversal Avengers, you know, like in the Doctor Strange with the new toys that leak, you know, you saw an alternate version of the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
So what's stopping Marvel from really capitalizing on this and giving us every single version of Iron Man there could be, you know?
Well, I mean, a perfect way they set stuff like that up. Look at the animated What If.
Yes. Dude,
that was seeing the what was his official name? The Sorcerer Supreme, the Dark Doctor Strange.
Right.
Seeing him in the
if that's him, yeah.
Oh, I think the world has agreed that that's him.
I mean, but I'm still giving Marvel a chance that they're throwing a slip in there, you know.
But think about it, for them to have crossed over the MCU live action even into the look at the doors that opens.
Yeah.
Like
You
we're
could-
willing to cross over our properties even into the animated stuff.
You know, I think the animation is just as good as the other stuff. I
Oh
mean,
God, yes.
so why not make it canon? What is canon anymore in Marvel?
Yeah.
You got a multiverse, so everything's canon.
And what's nice about that is acknowledging that, yeah, it's a part of the multiverse, but the bad Doctor Strange from the animated does exist within the multiverse of the proper MCU. Means they can go back and forth. So say we want to see more, again, we talked about it earlier, but the Guardians of the Galaxy or Ant-Man or something, we want to do something. We want to Spider-Man. We want to fill in the gaps of the story. Yeah, it is kind of difficult to shoot another movie right now. Hey, here's an hour-long animated movie with Tom Holland that takes place
at this point. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they can set it up where we need to show what happened after he swung out the window. Well, here's an animated movie. This takes even though it's not done in the proper timeline, but it sets right in and makes you have an adventure with Spider-Man.
Right. That whole idea of the Doctor Strange doing that eliminates the idea that just because it's animated doesn't mean it's not canon. No. Them doing that with Doctor Strange proves that animated and live action are still part of the same canon.
Yeah. Well, it's just like Doctor Who with their audio episodes.
Yeah.
You know, that all fits together. So, why can't Marvel do the same thing, with their animated series? Why can't anything they do? It all could relate, Why even worry about it? As I always said, just tell good stories. Who cares about canon? Just tell good stories. It's one thing to have that free reign, but I mean, yes, abuse it a little bit, but give us good stories.
Perfect example. Right now on Spotify, I just finished listening to the audio series of Outlanders, Hawkeye.
Okay.
Which set in the future, completely autonomous story, set in a future where the bad guys won. Great story. Listen to it from the first episode to the last episode. I just started, actually it was just this week. It was kind of like a sequel to it, but it was the Outlanders Black Widow. Nothing to do with the MCU right now, but guess what? Like you said, Richard, good storytelling. And what I really like about it, Richard, since it's set into the distant future, Hawkeye's an old man, which is kind of loosely based on the Old Man series from Marvel comic books, like Old Man Logan, Old Man Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I'm 1 or 2 episodes into the Black Widow, and we're still not even sure which Black Widow we're dealing with, if it's Natasha or Yelena. So I love the fact that they're keeping that door open right now too.
Like I said, I just want to have good stories. Let's not worry let's just don't worry about this canon or continuity, I mean, so Wookiees have teeth in their butt. Who cares,
Yes. Yeah, speaking of the other big Marvel, but real quick, because I don't remember we finished, but you know me, Hawkeye, I really did love it. What I need, there's 2 things I need more of after watching the series finale of Hawkeye. One, I need Kate Bishop and Yelena to be the new Hawkeye and Black Widow. Those 2 have the most perfect chemistry on screen together.
It's hot sauce.
Oh my God. You go see 3, we go see 3. Oh, the 2 of them, when Kate did the thing with don't do it. And she presses all the elevator buttons. She goes, oh, that's just obnoxious. It's like the 2 of them together. It's just like, don't make me like you, And the other thing I need more of is I need more Clint and Scott Lang, because we didn't get any. But think about it. I liked whenever they brought up anything with the Ant-Man stuff. He goes, I'll have to ask Scott about that, which means that they are on first name basis. It wasn't just at the end of Endgame. You're like, hey, I'm the guy to give you the tech, whatever. Because think about it. In the MCU, these are the only two so far we've really seen dads.
Oh yeah.
And dads of daughters. Dude, honest to God, I wanted to see a deleted scene with the two of them like kind of awkwardly sitting together, and then like somebody, like one of them mentions you as they ask, like, my daughter, you got a daughter? I got a daughter. Well, how old's your daughter? Well, my daughter, she was 12. And then all of a sudden you got the dads. And nobody bonds harder in a room full of strangers than two dads. Because now there's the dad jokes, I need to see the two of them. I need to see the two of them together more.
Yeah, Ant-Man saving New York, during the war. It's one of them things.
Oh, he wasn't even there.
Yeah, like I said, the Hawkeye served its purpose. It's just bringing that next part of the MCU together. The street level. It brings all that to like I said, it's breaking down into 3 levels now. Got cosmic, multiverse, and street level. I don't think we have really anything else anymore. Yeah,
and that was a perfect segue too for Hawkeye was one of the perfect characters for it. That's still alive. Black Widow would have been great, but when we were introduced to Hawkeye, it was in a very SHIELD, higher level type environment. But in Hawkeye the series, because he knew who Kingpin was, and he was rightly afraid of Kingpin's influence.
Oh, yeah.
It bridged his connection to the street level underworld.
Yeah, because they would known about all these different, crime lords and stuff. He would have had that SHIELD knowledge because they fought on that street level. Because SHIELD was trying to interfere with all that, is what I think they were trying to do. But SHIELD even held back from trying to stop it because I think they realized they couldn't stop it. I think that's what all that had to do with the Black Widow back history and Hawkeye's back history. I think they got to a point where they probably couldn't. They thought they was going to stop it, but maybe couldn't.
And we've seen this in so many other mob type television shows where it's just like the powers that be. It's like we know he's a bad man, but if we take him out of power, something worse is going to fill that vacuum.
Yeah, and that's what always happens.
Yeah, so he's a necessary, it's like Wilson Fisk is a necessary evil. We'll keep him in check. He's got the run of the boroughs, but he tries to get ambitious. We'll smack him down a peg or two.
The only thing we didn't see in Hawkeye was the connection with what's her name? Dreyfus's character,
the Countess.
Yeah, the Countess. We didn't see that connection. That's
the only thing that we got from that, and we didn't see her, is that it was Yelena, or it was Kate's mom that hired her hire Yelena.
Yes.
It wasn't Kate's mom that went to Yelena and said, hey, here's $50,000, go kill this guy. No. She was the middleman, which kind of sets up that she's outside, just like a little bit above the Wilson Fisk levels. Like, I'm who you go to handle these types of problems.
Yeah. And that brings back another thing from the with the Captain America, Falcon Winter Soldier, the power broker, Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
How will that tie into all that street level stuff? That's what I mean by street level. I'm not talking necessarily the Netflix stuff. I think we're going to see that level where you're going to see like the underworld of Marvel, the MCU and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, not just the New York 5 boroughs underground, the underground, the entirety of the underground.
I think it's all connected, probably, because that's sort of how it is in the comic books, or loosely, what I'm saying?
Yeah. But especially now that Sharon Carter has her powers back, or her, when I say powers, I mean more like judicial powers back in the United States.
Right. Like she's a citizen again,
Yes.
Not most wanted.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, is she a Skrull? I heard that there's rumors that Secret Invasion's been pushed back now, so we don't know. That might not come as fast as they thought.
Oh, God, come on.
Well, I think they had some production problems or something, so they decided to just push it back a little bit. I know that and What If even got pushed back.
Yeah, I can see that.
So we might not be getting stuff until 23, 24 time frame.
God.
So. Well, at least we got Doctor Strange coming up, so.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say, is the last I heard too is I'm pretty sure that I'd heard that Ant-Man Quantumania got pushed back too. I think that's going to be a 2023.
Yeah, there a lot of this is rumors because of what happened with the Asian marketing of the Disney Plus.
Oh yeah,
because those two were absent from the marketing over there. So who knows?
Yeah, that goes beyond canon and everything. That's judicial. That's lawyer stuff.
Well, it's mark. I don't think production is being done as fast as they could get stuff done.
Right.
I think COVID set stuff back because film sets get shut down, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Locations are hard to film at nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And animation. As much as we're saying it's easier to go that route, I don't think it's just as easy to go that route. You got to talk animators everywhere.
Yeah.
And I know they're hiring people up like crazy because I actually got through my LinkedIn account. Someone was looking into me for a job in animation.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and I've had some knowledge of it, but
yeah.
I don't put myself out there as an animator, but I didn't understand that because it was one of these groups that makes the animation. How they subcontract out all these to animation.
Right.
companies.
Yeah.
They were looking at me to hire me into their company. It was weird. I just kind of ignored it for now. I am taking this 3D modeling class, so who knows after that? Someone commented and I missed it. Someone said something. Hi.
Oh man. But hey, while I'm thinking about it, it's not just Marvel. Unless anything else to add to.
No.
It hasn't just been Marvel that's been pulling out the stops and some good content here lately, man. CW, DC Universe, Superman and Lois.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Well, before we get started in CW, who's going to buy it? I mean, is it really going to be sold off? I mean, I know that we had always talked about them thinking about getting out of the CW game. I'm talking about CBS, Paramount, and because I don't think it works for them because they haven't made no money since the whole network started. So, but they got some good shows, and they just, like you said, they just started up again the season. So,
I think their most logical bet would be HBO Max
streaming. That's the Warner Brother properties because Discovery is buying Warner Brothers properties, and streaming stuff is really getting complicated.
And we'll go into it later. I got a feeling, Richard, we're going to go a little bit more than an hour today. We'll go into it more later. But we've seen what HBO Max can do. With original content when it comes to DC properties, and I do want to taste it, if you know what I mean, Richard.
Yeah.
But Superman and Lois. Holy shit, dude. Again, I know I'm biased, but I'm also the most hypercritical person when it comes to this, man. But man, the first couple episodes of Superman and Lois, knocking it out of the park again. Absolutely loving it. The perfect blend. They're still nailing the perfect blend of Superman problems and Kent problems.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And the introduction of Natalie from John Henry's daughter from his universe. Oh my God, that was heartbreaking. When she landed and she saw Lois and she went running for her. Oh my God, my heart.
Yeah, I think the kids are really setting this series off.
They really are. And there was a great interaction. And that's why I really like the writing. Because they're really nailing the two of them as brothers. Because I think it was this last episode where Jonathan had just come back from his uncle's Fortress of Solitude, you know, and he got to help his dad put a right good smack down. And they're having that interaction where it's like, dude, I think he's juicing. Oh, yeah, well, where'd you get? Dude, those at that moment, those two were brothers. The way that they were interacting with each other. And it wasn't just your typical, oh, well, we've got two brothers about the same age. They got to hate each other. No. No, they were like excited for one another. It's like, you did, Grandpa did that? Yeah, I did that. Oh my God, dude, that's awesome. It's like so good. And when Jonathan came to Jordan about, when Jonathan came to him with problems with his girlfriend, he was a brother. He goes, "Are you sure she was being honest?" He was like, "Ooh, that's some harsh brother truth, you know."
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. They are really setting them, you know, for the tone of the show. The other great thing oh my God, Rich. Doomsday.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I knew when Clark was having those flashes, and I say Clark, when Clark was having those flashes, and you could see it was something digging through the earth. Like, I knew before spoilers. I'm like, I know the character who was buried. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going in, like I said, it's getting really, I don't want to say youth friendly, but I really like the two different directions that it's going. You know, you have your superhero side, but you really have that down to earth, reaction side, you know, which I think really balanced the series out so much better than what it did last year. Because it didn't quite balance right last year, you know.
Perfect example was a scene where Clark and Jordan's girlfriend just get back to the farm, and Clark hears an emergency. He's like, I gotta go. I'll be back in a little bit. Like, all right, and he takes off. He didn't realize he left two teenagers alone at farmhouse. So when Lois comes home and catches him, you know, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she had every right to be pissed. Like, you left our teenage son alone with his girlfriend. Yeah, but yeah. It was that moment you saw him really slip back into Clark mode, where it's just like, yeah, my bad.
And I think we can just look for that rest of the season. I think this is going to be really good season, you know.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Rich, have you watched Naomi?
Yes.
I'm really enjoying Naomi. I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the character in the comic books too, and right. I think within the confines of that universe, doing that character a lot of justice.
And it almost feels like it's not even part of the CW, which I always like too.
Exactly.
Or
Because
the Arrowverse. The Arrowverse,
right.
It
Because
feels like a show.
yeah, because they allude that they are aware of quote unquote Superman, but at the same time,
Is he real?
is he real?
Yeah, or is there aliens? They just don't know this stuff.
Right, and that's the part that really took me out, was when it was the military.
Yeah.
In this last episode, it was like, are you telling me aliens are for real? Yeah. Well, like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, I can understand normal citizens in BFE, Oklahoma. It's kind of like that whole Batman thing where, even people like Metropolis, because they weren't experiencing on a daily level, still thought that he was an urban legend.
Right.
I could understand that for Superman. I mean, yeah, maybe not everything, was, newsworthy, but for the military to have been like, oh, what do you mean? You mean aliens exist? What? Well, yeah, because the military is literally working with. And
that's where it threw me off. I go, is this really part of the same Arrowverse or not?
See, I'm still on the fence. I really don't know either, Richard, because I mean, if you think about it, even Supergirl, within the confines of that universe, aliens were very, 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 very public.
Yeah, and like Batwoman, is referring to Batman so heavy this season.
Oh yeah.
So
really heavy.
Has been around, and Batman's had to be in the news too. You were saying about the urban legend part.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's beyond the urban legend in the Arrowverse.
Right.
I think all this is beyond just urban legend. That's where I'm thinking, is Naomi really not part of the universe, or are they just so far off the grid that that's what happens?
Right. And again, it's speculation, but maybe it'll be that Naomi is like a meta from the CW universe in this universe, which is completely autonomous from the CW Arrowverse.
Yeah. Who knows? But the production is good. And the acting is really good in the
yeah.
scene. And it's got that little bit of Buffy the Vampire thrown in there because of the gang.
Yeah.
Or the group, I should say, not the gang, but
yeah.
It really plays well as a modern day take on that level of friendship,
Yeah.
And none of the other ones have powers, and only she has powers, So are we going to see a branch out and then go beyond the comic book and be its own self?
Yeah.
Who knows,
Because honestly, the only universe I would be really interested in seeing her tie in with is the Stargirl universe.
Oh yeah.
The two of them together, I would very much like to see team up more than I would Naomi and the Flash.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the crossovers, what about this new Earth Prime comic that's coming out that crosses over with all the CW shows or the Arrowverse shows?
Yeah.
It's canon too.
Yeah.
And canon's canon.
Yeah.
And I like I said, if CW gets bought out, it'll be a few years down the road. Most of the series will be done, because Flash will be done. Flash ain't going to last much longer.
No.
If it gets another year, and these other ones are young enough where the Netflix streaming site is not part of the deals anymore. So that's gone. So, so HBO Max is where everything's headed to. For the Warner Brother properties.
Right.
So why not? Why not just slide it all over?
And I mean, they've already, HBO Max is, here's the thing about HBO Max. HBO Max has already proven that they can take the reins on an already establishing property and make it even better. Titans,
yes.
Doom Patrol did not start on HBO Max. They started on the
universe, the DC universe.
DC universe.
Yeah.
But they they were even better being on HBO Max.
Right.
I think the show's greatly improved, which is why it was really kind of heartbroken that like Swamp Thing didn't get picked up, because I'm like, oh my God, what they did for
other things going on with Swamp Thing.
Yeah, because it was like what they did for Titans and what they did for Doom Patrol. Because I mean, like the first season of Doom Patrol was amazing, second fantastic, but it was just like once HBO Max was able to slide a few more dollars into the budget, it was just like, holy shit, this is gonzo.
Yeah.
And
I just think that's what needs to happen. And like I said, I just think the Arrowverse don't need to go away. It just needs to become part of something even bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think HBO Max is the legitimate fallout from that. I mean, I know we just heard rumors this week about the Justice U, you know.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a pilot, you know, so it might pick up. Who knows, you know. I mean, I could see him teaching a bunch of young kids how to be superheroes, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, one show we have got to talk about Peacemaker.
Right. Well, that's why I was bringing up HBO Max, so we could get a segue.
Because, okay, let me go on record first as saying Peacemaker has no right being that good. That show has no business being that damn good.
I want to see Matt Eater Lad now. So
no shit, dude. We were just talking about him today. You want to talk about the name dropping this mother fricker, man?
Between that and Batmite.
Oh my God, I shit when he said Batmite, and then he expanded on it. No, he's an eighth dimensional imp. I'm like, oh my God, he's really explaining Batmite. Batmite is canon now. Holy shit. Dude, honest to God, I was not I mean, it's James Gunn, so I knew I was going to enjoy it. But it's Peacemaker. I mean, it has no business being that goddamn good. Holy shit. It was just, I went into it like I'm going to enjoy it. I like John Cena. I like the character. It's James Gunn. How can it be bad? Holy crap, it's great. To take a character that is so unlikable as Peacemaker, it almost making, he's still not likable, but you love the guy. You know what I mean? And dude, it's like, what's the meme the kids use there, Richard? Tell me you're James Gunn. Tell me you're a James Gunn property without telling me you're a James Gunn property. Opening sequence is a dance number. Yep, that's James Gunn, all right.
Yeah, like I said, that's what we were saying. You know, it's like DC is just making anything and everything, except for now. What's going to happen with this Flash movie, though?
Oh yeah, Flashpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's just like I said, this is so good, and a lot of this stuff on HBO Max is so good. Now, what's going to happen when we get back into the theatrical stuff? I mean, we got The Rock's Black Adam coming, you know.
Yep.
So, you know, I don't want to digress off of the other Peacemaker, but it's just Peacemaker's Peacemaker. You know, we can't go any further. We just got to see more, you know. But where does this lie with all the other realms, you know?
Yeah, because, I mean, we know it's, I don't want to say the word sequel, but it's directly after the last Suicide Squad movie,
right?
Which I absolutely love. I will argue the Suicide Squad. I love that movie. I have watched it repetitively. I enjoyed that movie so much. So we know it takes place within that universe, which may not necessarily be in the same universe as the first Suicide Squad movie, because it's the same yet slightly different.
Right.
But where does that universe take place? Because that Harley was tied into that Joker who we have a flash from in the Justice League. You know what I mean? So if you play 6 Degrees of Separation, does Peacemaker technically take place within the Justice League movie universe?
Right.
And if that's the case, where the hell was Matter Eater Lad during the entire thing with, Darkseid? It's like, oh, man, we got to destroy the mother box. I got it. Oh. And I love that part, too, when he's talking about Matter Eater Lad. He ate a Denny's. Like, he ate it. No, he ate the Denny's. They got his order wrong, and he ate the entire. I was like, oh, my God, dude.
So do we get a Legion movie now? At least that's what I want to see.
That would be actually, man, you want to talk about a property that'd be prime for Richard, because taking place that far into the future, they have no restraints, no confines. Right. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, like I said, just that little name drop, who knows, I mean, or we'll just wind up like Supergirl. Never mind.
We don't talk about Kara. No. Sorry. Speaking of shows that had no business being that good, and Encanto, that was excellent. I'll just go on record as saying I've watched that a couple times now, and I really enjoyed it.
But yeah, I just think the stuff that's coming out now is just good. HBO Max is kind of giving a new home for some of this stuff. So hopefully some things will just start twinkling over there, and we don't have to worry about CW. Except I do like the CW apps revamp.
Oh, yeah. Oh, real quick, because a couple things speaking of Disney Plus, we forgot to talk about the Book of Boba.
Oh, yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
That's canon.
I'm enjoying it. It's not great. It's not blowing me away.
It feels like filler in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's telling a bunch of backstory, and I think it's necessary, but maybe not necessary,
I think that's why this last episode was so good, is because we were done with the backstory.
For the most part, yeah.
We got the 2 most important parts of backstory that we've been wanting as fans since The Mandalorian. We got to see how he escaped the Sarlacc pit.
Right.
And we got to see him saving Fennec Shan.
Right.
We're good. All that other stuff was good, but it didn't. It was so slow paced.
Well, I think the whole Sand People stuff was to set him up why he wanted to take over the Fett Empire.
Yeah.
And I think it has to do with the Pikes and stuff like that because of the spice stuff and the execution of the Sand People. And that's what drove him in there to take this over and set this new little army up to take the Pikes out. I think that was the whole plan from the beginning.
And a little bit of his, I don't want to say change of heart, but let's be honest with you. He's still a badass, but this is a very watered down version of the Boba Fett that we were expecting. Yeah. No, I don't want to blow all you guys away. I want to work towards peace. And the thing with the Wookiee bounty hunter, no, you can go. By the way, you should get out of the.
Well, it's the Sand People mentality that got into his head now. And I think that's going to help. And then
exactly.
Of course, I think this next episode, you're going to see the Mandalorian come in with a bunch of other Mandalorians,
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be the Mandalorians against the Pikes,
Yeah, because that was a nice little touch, when Fennec says, for the right amount of money, you can buy an army. I was like, oh, come on, man. You're going to be a little bit more on the nose.
I mean, that's yeah. But this is going into, I think it was a necessity that we did have this Boba Fett series. You know what I'm saying? Because other than having I think this sets us just seems like anything Disney Plus is doing now is setting us up for something else, you know.
Yeah.
And I wish we would get the actual meat of the meal now, you know. I want to see a big movie or something.
Yeah. Boba Fett feels like something that should be coming before a big movie.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to see this. Maybe it is going to be this whole war with the Pikes and the Underworld. And then there's always talk that Han Solo's girlfriend from the Solo movie is in charge of everybody, because that had to do with the comic books. With
yeah,
you know, and how that she's in charge of the one crime lord. So we're kind of getting our Star Wars Underworld series that we never got. Remember how long time ago it was supposed to be the Underworld series? It was supposed to take place after the Fett had been, you know, eliminated, and how all that was supposed to happen, you know? So basically that's what we're getting, is this original Underworld series of Star Wars that Lucas always wanted to do.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right, though. It's just, like I said, I don't dislike the Book of Boba. It just... I made the joke. It reminded me of that meme with the little stick figure guy poking something that says, "Come on, do something." like every episode I've watched so far, it's just been like, yeah, it's on. Okay. And I watched it and I'm like, yeah, that was an episode. It's about all you can really say about that. You know, it wasn't like The Mandalorian where it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait until next week. And this one, you know, an episode ends and it's just like, yeah, okay.
We got another one next week.
Yeah.
And then I think, you know, 5 and 6 is going to be something else, but I hope.
Yeah.
Hope this is what we waited for. You know, we got to see Boba's backstory and all this stuff, and now we can have clones and stuff like that being played out in live action and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, we got to see how he got his armor back. We got to see how he got his ship back.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to see how he got that cool looking gaffy stick. Okay.
It's a bunch of 40-year-old guys playing with action figures.
Yeah.
There's that meme going around.
Yeah. With John Favreau and
Robert
David.
Roman.
Pew 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 pew. Play with the action figures. Yeah. But another show, real quick, CW. We got to mention, man, is the Legends of Tomorrow. Oh, dude, that is in and of itself its own entity. I swear by that show. That is the show that is like, it's so meta. Because what was it, 2 episodes ago when it was from the evil robot's point of view?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, that was so over the top. Like, everybody was just like caricatures. Like, Nate was like roided out. It's, you know, I mean, what other show does that? And then this last episode was they were in hell and they were subjected to a hell type reality TV show. Only Legends of Tomorrow could pull that shit off and make it work and make it really enjoyable.
Yeah, it was just what it was, you know.
I love that show so much. And the great thing about the great thing about that show is it's not so bogged down with backstory like Flash. Like, oh, we've got Flashpoint and oh, we got to do this. They're just so free to go anywhere, literally anywhere and everywhere they want. Like there's no stopping that train. You know what I mean? Even like Batwoman right now, which is really good, but right now they're every episode is like, we're going after this prop that Mad Hatter used, and we're going after this vine that Poison Ivy molted or whatever, you know, and infected my sister. And
yeah,
I'm very happy to see that storyline wrap up. Because evidently, it's my one complaint about any of the CW shows, Richard, is no character. You cannot introduce a character that's not had interactions with every other character in this show. Like they even brought in John Diggle again, which was great, but he has to know Robin Gibbons' character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Anytime I get to see Diggle, I'm happy. But really, they had to have known each other. And having Renee Montoya, of all people, in a relationship with Poison Ivy, dude, that was a reach.
Oh, yeah.
That was a reach.
Yeah, that was. Like I said, I think they're over. I think Batwoman this year is over trying to be so much part of the Batverse.
Yeah.
And tying in their own version of the Batverse into the Arrowverse.
Right.
You know, and I think they're trying to stretch in every different direction they give it, you know, and just one step away from being Gotham City. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just what it's trying to do, you know, and in a way, I'm kind of hoping that this is the last season of Batwoman myself, in a way, because I think they've overstretched it, you know, because there was talk that this was going to be the last season, but they might renew it, you know.
I'm hoping it gets renewed because if there's one thing that we've learned from shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., every series gets a get out of jail free season.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? You can't be perfect all the time, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, even Arrow, there was a season or two. Yeah, Batwoman this is an off season. In my humble opinion, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the show, but it's the writing.
Yeah.
It's like what you said, Richard. It's like they're cramming the fact that, oh, hey, did we remind you we're part of the Batman universe? Oh, we didn't? Rah, rah. Here's Mr. Freeze's freeze chamber. Rah, rah. Oh, here's Killer Croc's tooth that is like a vampire tooth that makes you a Killer Croc if you scratch it, you know.
And Mad Hatter's hat, you know, makes you.
And Mad Hatter's hat, yeah. I mean, it was one thing with the previous season where it was kind of like, it was like the next generation was taking inspiration from the previous, you know,
Right.
That was great. That was perfectly fine. But like you said, it's like they got to cram down the fact that, you know, it's like, oh, we're part of Batman's universe. Raw, here's a Batmobile that was stashed away in a secret cave.
Oh well.
It is what it is.
Maybe this will all get resolved when the CW folds and everything will jump back at HBO Max and Diggle will get his little group, the Justice U and stuff like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, at least they didn't do anything stupid this season, like have Barry Allen throw lightning at Black Lightning.
Oh.
I saw that scene again the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, you're going to try to defeat Black Lightning, who lightning is a part of his name, by throwing lightning at him. Hey, I'm going to try to shoot Bullet Man over here. Shit, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I was saying about the app. Have you noticed how they reorganized it and put the CW seed as part of the app?
Yeah.
I kind of like that in a way, you know. I know it's very, like I said, it's very struggling between HBO Max and Paramount Plus because this is something of both because they both own it, you know.
Yeah.
So I can see where it's starting to become, you know, with these properties and stuff like that, you know, because just like some of the other apps, you know, out there, things are changing left and right. You know, everybody's buying everybody up.
Yeah.
And of course, the announcement about what blew my mind was the Godzilla series is sidestepping HBO Max and going to Apple Plus.
Yeah. What the shit is that, dude?
It's It should have been on HBO Max. That's where Legendary's at. You know, it's like,
yeah.
Now, is Apple trying to buy into this when Discovery buys the Warner properties somehow? And is Apple Plus all this is going to merge?
Dude, I really don't know. That was one of those.
I'm calling that as of this episode that I see Discovery Plus or Discovery Networks, AMC is buying Warner Media, and then Warner Media is all going together, and Apple is going to own part of all of that.
I think you're right. You've nailed shit like this before.
It just makes sense as a marketing standpoint and money wise to make money. You know, I know like Paramount Plus always had a stake in with Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You know, and Amazon, I think, owns a little bit with the Paramount Plus stuff. So is that all going to merge together that way? You know, it's just one of them things. You know, I could just see how I still can't believe that Discovery is once media, Warner Media. It's just, you know, I mean, that's just going to be something. Oh yeah, and we didn't mention. I know we're running way over the Doctor Who special.
Oh yeah.
I know it was that Groundhog Day reverse thing, but it
worked.
I enjoyed that episode.
I did too.
You know,
I did too.
But we've talked a lot.
Yeah. But no, that was. Oh, Richard, did you see? And I've heard it's again purely rumor, and I really doubt it's gonna happen. But I could be wrong. Did you hear what the latest Doctor Who rumor is that's going around the internet right now?
No, I mean I've heard some, but.
Again, for those watching and or listening, I'm not saying I believe this. It's just what's coming out of. David Tennant might pick up the role of the Doctor after Jodie leaves.
Okay.
That they might do it's not like going to be set during David Tennant. That after Jodie leaves, she reincarnates and through one way or another reincarnates back into the David Tennant Doctor.
Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with, too, that, you know, Russell T. Davies, which was the showrunner during David's time, which produced some of the most amazing episodes in Who history, is taking over as a showrunner again. That it might be like a marketing ploy because, like, the ratings have been so bad.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying it's Jodie.
No.
She was fantastic. Churnball, for those of you listening, I'm flipping him off. That was some bad storytelling. That woman deserved so much better.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, oh shit. We really got to do something to get everybody back on board.
You know,
what could we do?
That makes one of my dream sequences. I always thought about the Doctor. What if the Doctor did not have that it just constantly changes? Could you see as like every episode the Doctor appears as like an older person, younger, you know, any Doctor.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be a set person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's played by like anybody at any time. That
yeah.
There's no regeneration. It's just constantly changing. Like a whole season stuck in regeneration.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
like a whole season set within that time of regeneration where the Doctor's body doesn't even know what to regenerate to.
Right.
So you're constantly changing, but you're still in that same regeneration period.
Oh my God. That would be
adventures.
Yeah.
I thought about that when I was watching this last episode with the time loop. It's like, what happens if the Doctor would get stuck in a regeneration? You know how the TARDIS is supposed to reflect what's around it? What if the Doctor is stuck and doesn't know what to transform into?
like in a like a regeneration loop, kind of like what this episode was, a time loop.
Yeah.
But like
where he could pop back as an old Tom Baker or a young Tom Baker. You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah,
any of the doctors,
yeah,
or
'Cause-
a whole other person that's never been a doctor.
exactly, because they're using again. I can't say for certain that this is speculation, but like some of the justifications is like that scene of Tom Baker with Matt Smith, like, oh, you might be revisiting some of the old favorites,
Yeah.
kind of that's and if you know the history, when Peter McGann's doctor changes into the war doctor, he goes to the Sisters of Karen to manipulate the regeneration.
Yes.
So it could be and they even acknowledged when Capaldi took over that he remembered the face. So he could have a little bit of control over his regenerations. So if they play with the idea that I really need him, or
Yeah. Yeah, anybody could guest star as the doctor.
yeah. Keep the companion the same person, but
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be interesting.
I could see this. It'd be a crazy season,
Oh my God, yes.
Especially now that we know maybe even further back the doctor is not necessarily what we think is the doctor,
You know what? It reminds me, Richard, they did I think it was one of the charities. It was like the Red Nose Brigade or something, but they did a short kind of like that where they had a bunch of different actors playing the doctor, and like the companion, it was like their first time seeing him regenerate, and she's getting accustomed to it, and then like at one point, like he regenerates into like I think it was like Hugh Grant, and she's like, "Whoa, time out. Okay, let's stop here. You're done." Then he like tripped over something, and all of a sudden he's Rowan Atkins, and she's like, "Ah, shit." I think at one point it was even like Joanne Lumley from Absolutely Fabulous. But yeah,
it was just one of the things I had to throw out there because I had that idea in my head after watching that last episode. So
yeah. So, man, Rich, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we've covered a ton of stuff.
One last thing is, as of like right now, Ghostbusters Afterlife it's not at the theaters anymore, but it is on some of the streaming services. So I picked it up on Amazon, Rich.
Right.
I have watched it a ridiculous amount of.
It's not streaming services. It's in VOD.
Oh, thank you. Yes, VOD.
Yeah.
Yes.
Streaming doesn't start until next month on Max, right?
Right. It's on Amazon. I got mine off of Amazon Prime.
That's called VOD. It's not
right.
You're not watching it on Amazon Prime. You're watching it on the VOD. Because I know a lot of our friends got really confused about that because they thought they could just go to Prime and watch it, and you can't do that. You have to buy it on VOD.
Right. That's what
the windows work as it goes from, well, not necessarily now because some things release on streaming the same day and stuff. But the proper term is theater, VOD, Blu-ray, and then to streaming.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't necessarily have to work that way anymore because with COVID and everything and HBO Max releasing stuff all at once, nothing works the same as it used to. But that's the set terminology. And Amazon is a VOD service, just like Apple. You can buy it on Apple, or there's what is
Vudu?
it? Vudu, yeah. Yeah, I've realized now that Fandango is now part of Vudu now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or somehow it's all got moved around because Walmart owned Vudu for the longest time.
I knew that, yeah.
And then sold it off, and now Fandango, and then now Amazon is now part of that somehow, and that's how the VODs are working out now. So but it is on video on demand. I'm
Right.
sorry. I just had to specify that.
But long as it's short, I have watched it a butt ton of times, and I'm telling you, it keeps getting. I don't care what anybody said. I love that movie, and Richard. The first time I watched it was at the theater. The second time I watched it, was at the theater. Third time I watched it was at home.
Right.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know what's really great about watching it at home? The good part is nobody's going to see me blubber like a child during those critical moments of the movie. The bad side is nobody's going to see me blubber like a child during the. So I'm like, let the waterworks begin. I was like, oh God. And when he's holding that and the music came around, it was just, I love that movie so much. So yeah, I've been watching the hell out of that one. And yeah, I did the same thing, Richard, that a lot of people did, was just like, man, you can't rent it off VOD. You have to buy it. Yeah. Does that mean when it comes out on video? Yes, I am. I'm going to buy that damn thing. I did realize though, Richard, there's an ultimate gift set that's being the one that was having the controversy about a certain individual crying his eyes over, but you didn't include my movie. Well, your movie's not a part of the trilogy. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not upset that Christian Bale's Batman's not in with my Michael Keaton box set. You don't see me bitching about that. Guess what? Same character, different anyways. Yeah. Man, I can't do it though. I want to, Rich, but it's like I have 1 and 2 already in 4K. And the box set is only going to be like Blu-ray, I think. And I'm like, yeah. I think it's a 4K Blu-ray set, isn't it? I think so. Yeah. But even I'm like, man, man, I want that trap, but I don't know. I probably will, but no. Regardless of whether or not I bought it off of Amazon. I'm gonna buy that when it comes out because I need all those special features because a little bit's trickled out here and there like on YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah. But so yeah, that's it for me, Rich. I've just been watching the hell out of Ghostbusters and that's about it. Richard, if you would kindly remind the gentle viewers and or listeners where they can find everything since it's been so long since we've done anything. Yeah, just go over to undergroundvideonetwork.com. We're the 2 Gen X geek guys who talk about modern day culture. A new tagline we're toying with. You can catch all the archive at the UVN Plus Video Archive, 800 plus videos. We have panels, we have interviews, we have a little bit of everything for the last 19 years. You know, we've been around 19 years, going on 20 coming up. So go check that all out over there at undergroundvideonetwork.com or find our socials. The links are there, and watch the podcast video version, or just listen to what we're talking about now. And we're on where most podcasts are available. Yep. So on behalf of myself, Michael Boroff, and my good friend, Richard Catterjohn, thank you for watching and or listening. We hope everybody is staying safe and healthy, and we can't wait to see you guys at a con or a show or even out on the street. Say hi to us real soon. If you would kindly, Richard, please press the button.